talk about what happened with Shedeur Sanders, the shock of going in the 5th round, all the other stuff, and all the crazy conspiracies that were out there.
Very abundant.
And I'm going to say this. I thought the draft coverage was the worst I'd ever seen it. We mentioned this the other day. So many analysts took it personally. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the NFL and drafting quarterbacks and who goes in this it's not an exact science. They're wrong. And guys, Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls. He drafted in the 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
It's not whoever's drafted in the 1st round automatically going to be great and this and that. How many bust first overall picks, 1st round quarterbacks? Josh Rosen had a cup of coffee and a sweet roll in Arizona. Right?
It happens.
1 year.
It happens. Both sides. The guys we didn't see coming, that you guys let Tom Brady go. Guys we thought was the end-all, be-all,
But I got to say this. The Sanders family, Deion and Shedeur, they're to blame for this as well.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is they thought that they were going to run this.
Mm-hmm.
Like Deion was the one who said he's going to be a top 5 pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, all right. They have interviews and quotes where he's like, if I'm a young quarterback, I wouldn't want to go to Cleveland. That's where they all die there or something, like that. Also talked about teams that he wouldn't allow Shedeur to play. Okay. So all that, plus Shedeur blew off some interviews. Shedeur, went in. They said, the stuff that he was unprepared to do the whiteboard, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And people went, okay, I guess we don't look at you as a 1st round talent. So we're not going to draft you in the 2nd round or 1st or 2nd round and have you think that we think you're going to be a starting quarterback or a franchise quarterback, because that's the worst thing you could do is draft a guy too high thinking that, this is my team, I'm going to be that guy. They didn't look at him like that. Even going to the Browns, they passed him over 4 times before they picked him with their, their 5th pick.
Yep.
4 times. And I just, it was mishandled. This idea that the NFL, they were trying to humble him, put him in his place, that's all poppycock, boulder dash, and nonsense. It just is nonsense. You're a general manager or a coach, and you have a talent there. You're trying to hold on to your gig. You're trying to win games. Come on, man. Do not buy into that you're not going to draft somebody who can help you win.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to do that. And then the race thing, there are no black general managers?
There are.
Okay. Is Mike Tomlin black?
Mm-hmm.
Did Mike Tomlin have a chance to draft him?
Mm-hmm.
He sure did. What'd he say? Nope. I'll pass. I'm not saying it's all on him, but there's a black coach there.
Right.
Tom Brady's his mentor? Is that what they're calling Tom Brady? Or
friend or something? They are
worked out together, all that? The Raiders passed him over. Tom Brady's your guy. Shedeur, Tom Brady. He knows quarterback talent, doesn't he? Tom Brady, if he worked out with him, threw the football with him, right, could have said, are you kidding me? He's available? Let's make it happen. We have our quarterback for the future. The Raiders don't have a quarterback. Why wouldn't Tom Brady take him? This had nothing to do with anything other than he wasn't viewed as a top-tier quarterback, and they didn't want to waste a high pick and decided later. There were only really 3 or 4 teams that needed a quarterback, so that limited the scope. Would you agree?
Yeah, that to me, of most things that you said, I agree with the most. I do believe that this wasn't a year where there were several, 8, 9, 12 teams that needed quarterbacks. I do agree with that. I will push back on a couple of things. I do believe that there were a couple of things at play here. Number one, I think the reason why you saw some people, I know Mel Kiper, and I know we'll talk about that a little bit more specifically, and why some other people, I saw Louis Riddick, I saw other people genuinely frustrated, upset, and obviously fans and people, who have opinions.
People covering the sport, I'm sorry, to be personally, let me just say this, and I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
That's because you might be friends with Deion. You can't have a personal, like the idea that Mel Kiper could get on the air and say the NFL doesn't know how to evaluate quarterbacks and they haven't been able to do it for 50 years is a joke.
But it's not a joke when you look at the percentage, though. Like, that's what we just said. He's absolutely right that most of the time they get it wrong.
It's a crapshoot on everything,
but that's what I'm saying.
Is what I'm saying.
So in theory,
how
what
are they going to get
right.
it right? There's no such thing.
And he put extra sauce on it, but I think why he put extra sauce on it was because, like a lot of people, for him, I've evaluated this for 30, 40, however many years. I've never seen a guy who so many people in our conversations, in our text exchange, in our meetups, in our having coffees, evaluate this guy here. Not that he would have, a lot of people, hey, he's not a top 5, not top 10. Hey, he's not a first rounder. He's probably a second rounder. To see a guy go from not really a first round, maybe late first round, second, to maybe third, to fifth, specifically at the most important position, that is probably why he put extra sauce on his emotions and how he felt and why so many people did that. And Louis Riddick, I can go down the line because people were like, wait a minute. If you've all told me he's the first.
Who told you that? Did NFL people tell you that?
That's what I'm saying. Why Mel Kiper probably felt that way. Because he's having conversation, literally talking to his peers who do this. And if most people are saying, I don't agree with the top 10, he's definitely not a first rounder, but for sure second round, third round. And for him to drop fifth and get to the fifth round, and again, not only drop to the fifth round, be the fifth quarterback selected when we had heard of universally he was around the third, maybe not first, maybe not second, probably third. That's why it was so
third to fifth made people lose their mind.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. It's a fair point. If you said that in another year,
third to fifth,
where there's a bunch of quarterbacks, their quarterbacks weren't great. Even the reach for 3 wasn't great. I mean, dude, you're talking about quarterbacks that weren't fantastic. This isn't a quarterback season or a draft where they was loaded with legit real quarterbacks. So even a third pick dart or a second pick is like, oh, okay, and on down the line till you get to Shedeur. Also, when you just talk about there's things to be left desired, I can completely understand that, right? Is he walking around like Andrew Luck? No. But we've had plenty of people who were drafted way higher than him who had left things to be desired. Johnny Manziel, Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell, Trey Lance, there was a reach. Zach Wilson was a reach. Matt Leinart we talk about. So there are other people.
Matt Leinart wasn't a reach. I mean, he made a mistake by not.
Well, no, not a reach. I'm saying those two are a reach. I'm saying with deficiencies. They're saying, well, his arm might not be the greatest. That was what they were saying about Matt Leinart. Arm not the strongest. So I'm saying there were deficiencies. Again, he's not Andrew Luck. Nobody's saying that. But when you look at the productivity, that's where it also didn't match. The dude is 14th in NCAA D1 history with 1,343 passing yards. He is the first two. He's only one of 2 QBs to have 14,000 yards while completing over 70% of his passes. And then he had a 9-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He went bar for bar, as they say in rap world, but pass for pass with Caleb Williams. He had no offensive line, so that's where people are like, well, dang, I'm not saying he's the greatest, but to drop like that. And I think there's something, last point I'll make here, I do think there's a part of this that absolutely said the kid who has it all and all these other kids coming, NIL money, making big money, got a name, got millions of followers, and he might have had a little extra bravado and swagger and a little bit of confidence. I believe that. I absolutely believe that. And I do think there was a message being sent. Don't come in here.
What's the message?
I'm about to tell you. Don't come in here with all that. This is the NFL. We were bigger before you, during you, and after you. And don't come in here with all that. I'm the man. I'm the one. And extra bravado, extra arrogance, extra confidence. Just because you already got millions of dollars in the bank, just because you got millions of followers and shows on all types of networks and all that, we still run this thing. And I absolutely believe that was not only for NFL coming into the league, but also college. All y'all young folks, like the young quarterback who left Tennessee, hold on. Everybody just trying to go get more money and do all that. Hold on. And I think a message was made because, again, it just logically didn't make sense. Nobody's saying he had to be top 10
I disagree. I totally disagree. You don't even have any evidence, and people keep saying, where's your evidence that the NFL circulated, like seriously, You could speculate all you want, but I'm talking about – you can speculate all you want.
Let me be very clear.
Okay.
This is 100% Kelvin Washington's observation.
Speculating.
Yeah, 1,000%. No intel. This is me watching, noticing trends. Wondering what the kid happened in college a week or two before, the quarterback from Tennessee, and noticing conversations that I just think there's absolutely
with all the guys who lose jobs in the NFL because they don't win. Okay, seriously, you can't tell me that somebody really believes he's a franchise quarterback and the NFL told you not to draft him. Okay. Because his receivers got drafted, right, and everybody else who around him. And you're going to tell me that they're really going to be like, don't draft him. But the Browns did draft him. If you told me he didn't get drafted at all or nobody signed him as a free agent or whatever, maybe I would buy that there's some sort of blackball thing. But he did get drafted. You're just not happy where he got drafted.
Nobody said blackball, Rob. Okay, I said a message being pushed.
But what's the message? Who was the message? Was this Roger Goodell?
Absolutely,
I'm asking
the
you.
message.
Who is that from? Tell me.
I'm telling you, front offices who say, "Kid, don't come in here acting like you're haughty or better than." Deion Sanders. This is what happens when you're not if he were Andrew Luck, Cam Newton when he was coming out, Baker, some of these obviously, or Trevor Lawrence, where they feel like you're the one. This wouldn't matter. He could come in whatever he wanted. He could have been 5 minutes late because you're that talent. We know that in life, in any profession, talent supersedes a lot. So I agree. He would have been drafted despite anything anybody said if he were that type of talent.
But he ain't that type of talent.
Right, and I agree with that. But that's where people are confusing because, okay, if he's a second, third round pick and all this other stuff, well, I have no problem letting him slide to 5th in to make it a point. Because if he's not guy.
It's not a point because they did draft him. That Browns team passed on him because
I still got to draft 7 people.
Yeah, but they
still, you know what I mean? I still got to draft 7 rounds. They didn't have to draft 32 teams, 7 rounds. Somebody's going to grab him.
Yeah, but they didn't have to. And the whole thing is that they did draft him, and finally they were like, okay, that's for that value of a guy that we don't expect to be this kind of quarterback. That's a reason you wait, because you could say, well, he might be that fit.
I agree.
Like, we don't need to. Point too. We need other players first. We don't need a quarterback. They had already drafted
I agree with you
one.
on that. I said this wasn't the year of 5 legit real quarterbacks. Last point real quick. I do believe that Deion might have put a little too much out there about, we ain't going here. Remember, little sexy, little cute, little innuendo. He thought he was cute with certain things, innuendos. He wasn't Eli talent. Now, obviously, career, we never know what's going to happen. That's life. But Eli coming out was universly known the number one pick.
Because Archie was a quarterback and Peyton was in the league. So you already had a track record.
Right. And so he over the last year and a half, putting out a little too much, saying a little too much, being a little cute with the I ain't gonna say, but we ain't gonna. They did put a little extra bit on that as well. But again, I think like many, were just dumbfounded that this guy who did nothing but be productive his entire college career all of a sudden was a 5th rounder, and you got guys who we literally, when they got their name called, went, me? Quarterbacks, and me? Other players, me? I'm picked over him? That's what made it crazy. All right, 877-99 on Fox. Shedeur Sanders was pretty much the talk of the entire draft all weekend long. Your thoughts on it? What happened? Why didn't he get drafted sooner? Was he drafted in the right place? 877-99 on Fox. Who we got?
Julio in Lancaster.
Julio! Sorry.
You're on the couple Fox Sports Radio. Is that Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
Negative.
California. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Homie.
All
California,
right.
homie.
What's up, Julio?
Well, it's going to hurt me to say this, but Rob, you're right. But Kelvin, you're always right. So it's a combination. It's a combination of all these points. You could write an editorial essay on this stuff. Okay, yes, he's not that talented. We're in a sense, okay, he's going to be a franchise quarterback. And yes, they were sending a message figuratively about, guess what? All you younger kids that are getting paid and all this other stuff and brashing out and being all brash and you're going to regret that that you guys don't pick me. They're just saying no. We're bigger than that. It's been done before and it's going to be done again.
Yeah, I just don't think there's some league-wide. I don't.
I do.
Sean in Orlando, you're on the
Don't do that like that. I thought it was Sean up in Sacramento. He was going to have some explaining to do.
That's right. Sean in Orlando, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah, it's Sean in Orlando, Kelvin. Listen, I agree with Rob. I don't think there was any big conspiracy. I think that his talent simply didn't outweigh all the talk. I do think that part of it was Deion, the way he was yapping,
Yes.
the things that he's done in his past. You know, the whole "I'm gonna be drafted before I even get to you" and stuff like that. So, you know, sometimes this joint comes back to bite you, man. That's all it is. And I think it's ridiculous that they even trying to pull race into it when Cam Ward and the guy from Alabama are both black.
Right.
Right.
It makes no sense.
I didn't
Come
say
on,
race.
man. No, I know you didn't, but people are throwing it out there, and I'm like,
Look,
that makes no sense.
Right. That makes absolutely no sense. And then look, the majority of the people in the first round drafted were black. Like, it's ridiculous, man. He just wasn't up to snuff for all the talk that he was talking. That's all.
I hear you,
No
but
doubt,
it was some
Sean.
other non-up-to-snuff QBs
Thank you.
taken. That's all I like to say. It was some other QBs who wasn't snuffing nothing and got drafted ahead of him. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't like he was drafted Jaden Daniels ahead of him. I get that.
Doug in Maryland, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Doug?
Hey guys, good to have you, or good to have. Thanks for having me
Yes,
tonight.
sir.
No problem.
No problem, buddy.
You know,
Thanks
look,
for being a listener.
I wish you could give me a couple minutes because I really would like to elaborate.
We can't give you a couple minutes. Make your best
I know,
point. You know that.
Yeah, I know. But look, you know, he played at Colorado. Okay, he doesn't play the schedule that the SEC plays. Okay, now look. You know, he's got his dad's blood. You know, he's a Sanders. You know, he's got stiff competition. You know, with the other four quarterbacks up in Cleveland. They're probably going to get rid of Watson, but he's going to have to be competing during the preseason with three other guys. Okay, you know, a lot of things. Yeah, he was accurate, but he's only 6'2". All right, and you know, and I don't think what Deion said matters a lot, you know, because look, you got to go all the way back to '83. John Elway said he would not play for the Baltimore Colts. Mm-hmm. He absolutely, positively would not.
And
play
what
for
did
the
he have?
Baltimore Colts.
But what did he have in his?
Nothing,
What did he have in his back pocket, though? Well, you remember, right?
Baseball.
The Yankees. The Yankees had a contract ready for John Elway, and so he had leverage. Deion had no. Shedeur had no leverage. That was leverage. 877-99 on Fox. Joe in Texas, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Joe?
Thank you for taking my call, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, I do agree with Kelvin. When you're going to go apply for a job, any job, first of all, playing in the NFL is a privilege, but if you're going to go apply for a job, you don't go in there unprepared and then make it clear that, you know what, I'm really here just to, you know, I'm going to go to your competitor anyway, so I'm just here to just fulfill my obligation to a certain point. But in reality, I really don't want to be here. And to show you all, I'm going to disrespect this meeting more by not coming in prepared. If you have questions for me or you want to, diagram plays on the board there. So that's disrespectful.
So, yeah, you're agreeing with me then.
They're so used to agreeing with me, Rob. They just
you're agreeing with Rob.
I'm used to Kelvin.
Yeah. No, I got your
that Joe?
point.
Appreciate it.
Right.
No, we heard you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. You want to
one more? Squeeze it real quick. Tim and Callie, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. Quickly, Tim, what you got?
It's Ken in California, and the only thing Rob's right about is I'll save JJ ready for Trash Talking Tuesday.
Yes.
Calvin's right. This was a conspiracy, brother.
Tell him, Ken.
Look at any draft before this draft was completed.
You got the
second round. Sanders was in the first or no worse than second round. They blackballed him.
How'd they blackball him? He's in the league. He got drafted.
Because the first 4 rounds were black.
Stop. Yeah, they blackballed him. They played.
Calvin's right. All dog.
All right, Ken. Thank you, Ken.
Man, I mean, he's like officially on my side. Kidding. Like, it is official.
He got blackballed, and they drafted a black quarterback to start the draft. Okay.
Oh, wait, blackball is associated with black? Huh? So you're trying to tell me a white man in America can't be blackballed?
Yes,
That's got to be racist.
Yes. What comedy routine did you get that from?
No, nobody. You lucky Steve right now is looking at me. He's ready.